Hi there, and welcome to Essential Oil Talk Radio with Marc and Nikki. If you're frustrated with trying to manage your health and are looking for real information that challenges the status quo, you're in the right place.
Hello and welcome to the show. I mentioned on last week's show that you moms need to get out there and do a little self-care time. Well, I got to do that, okay? So let me tell you my story. I went to get a haircut, and that turned into getting my eyebrows waxed, and then that turned into getting a pedicure, $150 later, which I'm so worth it. So I get the haircut. I sat down. The lady goes to put the wax on my eyebrows, and she says, "Is it too hot?" And I was like, "No, it's fine." So she did this. Done in 2 minutes. I go and sit down, put my feet in the water, and I'm just kind of relaxing a little bit. And within about 3 or 4 minutes, my eyebrows were on fire. They started burning and itching. I had never been so happy to have a bottle of lavender oil in my purse.
Oh, wow.
Reached in, just put it all over my eyebrows. And she says, "Oh, what is that? Is that lavender?" Like, she knew the smell right away. I said, "Yeah." She's like, "Oh, put it in your water where I'm getting my feet soaked," right? So I was like, okay. So I did 5 drops, and she says, "A little more." So I'm like, okay. So I, 5 drops later, 10 drops later. And the next thing I knew, she was tapping me on the knee. She's like, "Ma'am, I need your foot." I had fallen cold.
Oh.
I was out. It was like the best spa experience ever. And the lady next to me, she says, "What did you put in your water?" I said, "It's lavender oil. Do you want some?" She says, "Uh-huh." So I gave her some, but it knocked me out. And I'm not talking like, I'm talking, what? Excuse me. I'm so sorry, ma'am. It was embarrassing, but at the same time, it was so relaxing. And I fell asleep twice. That was nice. But my eyebrows, it actually was yesterday. So I have just a little bit of redness today. So it really works. I worked on that. So that's my story this week.
Oh, so what would you recommend that people that are going in for all of this pampering, that they put some lavender on their eyebrows? And
Prior to? I wonder. No, I'm just saying, if you put it right there on your head, right, the pineal gland or pineal gland, right? You put it there, it's going to soak into your brain. I don't know what it did, but I just really needed that me time, and that helped me relax so well. But stick it in your purse before you go for that experience, and just know it's there to help you that way.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
And our sponsor this week, I wanted to give a special shout out to Josh Dixon over at Health Markets. Now, we all know he's an insurance expert with access to over 200 different insurance companies. He can customize your business plan, your family plan. He can meet your budget and your needs. We'll put his information on our website. And then a special shout out to Miss Erica Slayton with Wallach and Volk. Now, Erica is a mortgage advisor. She customizes the right the home loan for your family. She's been doing loans right here in San Antonio for over 23 years, and Wallach and Volk has been in business for 32 years. So thank you, Josh, and thank you, Erica. We appreciate you.
They're very special to us. This show wouldn't be possible if we didn't have sponsors, so we appreciate that. All right, so in studio today, I got a friend of mine now, Tony Rizzo, who he's a very funny guy, this guy. But we've been friends for, since 1988, I think, right? 88, 89?
I believe it is, yeah.
Hey, if you want to claim back that far anyway.
Yeah. I can go further, but I don't want to.
So he's been using essential oils for a few years now, and I thought it'd be a really cool idea to bring him in and just chat a little bit. He's like I said, he's a funny guy. He does some impressions and stuff like that, so it should make for kind of an interesting show. But let's start for the folks who don't know you. Tell us a little bit about your background and how you got started with essential oils.
Well, like you said, you and I met in the Air Force back in the 80s up in upstate New York. So we met there, and then both of us pretty much went to the Philippines after that and kind of continued on. And then years later, we both came down here to Texas, you down here to San Antonio. Me, when I retired with my wife, Lisa, we retired up to Dallas. And so we've been kind of staying in touch.
A little back and forth, yeah.
Yeah, a little back and forth. And then you guys came up, I should say, to Dallas that one time and introduced us to this. And to the oils, and it's just we've had really good experience with them ourselves, with all of the ones that we've tried, and now we've got, the little organizer up on the wall in the bathroom where we've got everything stacked. Yeah, a little cabinet thing there where we've got all of the oils, and even now on the trip here to San Antonio, I've got a little carrier where I always load it up with the oils that I know that we use every day.
So when we first started talking to you guys about the oils, were you skeptical about?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay. Because, it's not that I didn't believe you, right? Okay, because
sure.
I do, yeah. We've known each other a long time.
Well, hey, it may work for you, not necessarily for the rest of the people in the world.
Yeah, maybe it's good for you, probably not for me, because, I'm wired a little different or something. You think it's not going to be for me. But then when we did try it, some of the things that we did try, I mean, really seemed to work well. I know one of the things that amazed me early on was purification.
Right.
And, here in Texas, we have these great things in the backyard called chiggers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, go out barefoot in the summertime, and you get introduced to them. And when you get those bites down on your leg, the purification oil on there, it just takes the sting away.
Oh, yeah.
Same with mosquito bites, same with everything like that. It's just amazing. So, I was like, well, that's kind of neat. Don't know how it works, some kind of voodoo they put in the bottle, but that's good. I'll use it. I don't care.
It's snake oil.
Did you know about the scripture connection with frankincense and myrrh, for example?
I have a little bit, because you and I had discussed that, yeah.
Okay.
That there was the connection there, which is kind of what interested me in thieves as well, because of the history into that particular blend and kind of where that originated from. So both of those items, I mean, because I'm kind of a history geek anyway, and of course a huge Bible student, and so both of those really connected with me and kind of grabbed my interest on that. And I continue. One of the ones I guess I really need to utilize now is, what is it, Three Wise Men? Is that the one?
Oh, Three Wise Men, yes. It came up on your Zytoscan.
Yes, it did. Yeah. So I'm going to have to get introduced to that and see how that goes from there.
Yeah, it makes you wise, I think.
Good
And
luck.
there is 3 of them, so it's perfect.
Yeah.
It'll be perfect for you.
Well,
I'm
there
going to
was
need
at
a
least
lot. Okay.
All right, so what about your so did Lisa like the idea more of the oils before you, or
I don't know. I think we were both kind of really it piqued our interest. Both of us did, as we were getting interested in them, because of course, we've been together now 30 years, but there are things that she is an individual, that really kind of grabbed her interest in me also, different things that we were both kind of attracted to. And then there were similar things as well. Thieves, we couldn't make it without thieves.
Oh, right.
We use that stuff. I've probably got 3 bottles going at the house at any time, plus the hand soap and plus, the
that purifier is real popular.
Yes, and the hand sanitizer, all of that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're pretty thieves heavy at the house, with a lot of stuff.
So when it comes to using the oils,
Mm-hmm.
did you have kind of a oops moment?
Yeah. Oh, 1 or 2. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Tell me about one of those, because these are always fun, right? Because people don't realize how spicy these can be on the skin.
Oh, true. Yeah, and there's some of them that now that I've gotten some of the books, and you can kind of read up on what's the makeup on them, and gee, they're nice. They say you really should use this with carrier oil. That's a way of saying don't get this close to your eyes or any other sensitive parts, And so yeah, early on, I think I made the mistake of handling a thieves bottle and then rubbing my eye.
Oh.
That just happened once, and of course, you immediately want to run to the sink to wash it out, but don't do that, right? Because it's oil, and water's just going to kind of spread it around a little bit. You have to use oil. So there I was like a dummy, in a handful of carrier oil, washing my eye out with it. But it only took about once or twice. The ones that get you are the inadvertents, right? Where you're using the Panaway on a sore shoulder or something like that, and then you scratch or something, and you're like, oh, why did I do that? Mm-hmm. So where's the V6, honey? So, but yeah, there's a good few of those. So now it's like I get out of the shower, I get dressed, and then I put the oils on.
Yes.
So that I'm protected.
Yeah. The first time somebody does that backwards, where they put the oils on, then they get in the shower.
Yes.
That can be a bit messy.
Oh yeah, I can imagine, because it's just like I'll just put it right up here, and then it's like paint running on a fence. So yeah, that
so
could be
I know
ugly.
There are celebrities that use essential oils, and I've heard that Sean Connery uses essential oils. And didn't you speak to him about that, or?
Yes, I did. Sean's a big fan, he tells me. He just loves it. He doesn't know how it works or anything like that, but it's okay. He just, what does he know? He's an old Welshman.
Does he have a favorite?
I don't know. I think
lemon,
he just
probably
throws
lemon oil.
I think he just throws them all on, see what works. Sean's funny that way.
That's just one of the impressions he does that I think is funny. But we'll get to the Austin Powers stuff here in a little bit. So, all right.
So, Tony, you said you have one organizer on the wall?
Yes, just one.
Just wait.
Yeah. Oh, and
You say just one, I say just wait.
well, we have the one
There'll be others.
that kind of holds the bulk, But then they're on the bathroom counter, they're on the nightstands, they're in the living room. There's others that are on deployment, basically, if you will, through the house. They're deployed.
So funny.
Yeah, sorry, lemon oil is deployed to the living room now. You'll have to come back. So you have to go find them sometimes.
It is. It's a bit of a puzzle sometimes.
Yeah.
All right. So today's recipe tip hack that I always do, right? So I started this new, I say new, it's a little weight loss challenge. Some of the people at my real estate office got together and they're like, hey, let's put some money in the pot, and whoever, can drop 20 pounds first and keep it off for a certain amount of time, we'll get that. So I'm like, I'm up for the challenge, right? So whenever I start cutting back, doing stuff like that, my sweet tooth is like, did you say diet? Well, let's bust out some chocolate. Let's get something sweet. Automatically, my brain says, you can't have it. Oh, yes, you can. I'm going to prove to you that you can't have it. So my recipe this week actually is a simple chocolate drizzled pretzel, right? Because that's what I was craving. As soon as I started the challenge, I decided I wanted that. So you're going to melt chocolate, right? Get baker's chocolate. You can melt it in the microwave. That's what my instructions say. Melt it per whatever instructions your chocolate has on it. And then you can just kind of start whipping it up with a fork. And I added 6 drops of orange essential oil to it. Then I dipped the pretzels in about halfway, and then I put them on wax paper to let them cool. And I brought them today. So what did you guys think?
They were very good.
They were awesome.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, literally took me 5 minutes.
I kept them close to me, but I think
Yeah.
Lisa got
Yeah, he
into
did.
them too.
Yeah, he was kind of bogarting them, but
They're good, and it's a
I
quick.
was eating them 2 at a time.
Yeah, they're quick. They're so quick. They're so quick to whip up, and people just love them, and you can, just do whatever with them. So that's my little recipe for you today, Mark.
Outstanding. All right, so upcoming events, as one of our sponsors is San Antonio Empowerment Council, they've got an event coming up on June 9th that we've got 2 classes that are going on. One is going to be on essential oils and emotions. We get a lot of demand, a lot of asks for that particular class. And then I'm actually going to do a class on the understanding those health scan reports from the Zyto Balance Machine, because people are, they want a little bit more information on how to kind of interpret the report. It's not real complicated, but sometimes it helps just to get a little bit of structure. And you can kind of go through the report on your own. So that is going to be on June 9th at the Holiday Inn Airport here in San Antonio. It'll be from 2 to 4 p.m. So check out eotalkradio.com, and you can learn more there.
Awesome. All right, so back to the weight loss challenge, right? So I started doing some research, and I'm finding out that a lot of stuff in regards to essential oils and weight loss is out there. Like, I'm talking thousands of little stories or, before and after type thing. So we know that if we cut back on sugar, right, it's just kind of common sense. If we cut back on sugar, such as stop drinking sodas and start drinking essential oil infused water, you're going to lose some type of weight, you would think, right? So I started doing this. I found out online also there's the trio of the oils is grapefruit, peppermint, and lemon. So it helps support your metabolism, curb cravings, and I'm not doing too well with that one right now, and it helps detoxify your body. So I gave it a try. I put 2 drops of each in an 8-ounce glass of water after breakfast and then before I eat dinner. So I've done that now this week. And I'm 3.5 pounds down, right? I'm going to the restroom more frequently. That's all I'm saying. I don't go into detail because that's like a no-no talk for me. And then the cravings. Well, I had chocolate earlier. So it's really not helping me. I'm not finding that's beneficial to me in helping me with any type of craving. But, next week I'll let you guys know.
Do you remember we had, I think it was Jen O'Sullivan on the show, and she talked about, I don't remember if it was in our pre-talk or actually on the radio show, where we talked about how consumption of a lemon essential oil, in water, right? It does help with urination. It helps with that better free flow for folks.
That's right. That's exactly what's going on. And I'm like, okay, 3.5 pounds, it's water weight, obviously.
Yeah.
And so it works for me. So it can work for you too, I bet.
All right. Well,
or maybe you should try it. You guys try it and let me know if you're up at 4 a.m. going to the bathroom.
I already am. It's an age thing, okay?
It's a prostate thing.
I'm way on the age.
I get older, I'm up, 4 or 5 times a night and trying to make my way to the restroom, kicking stuff.
Right. I know this one person said that he would get up, he would go to the bathroom every morning at 7 a.m. But his alarm didn't go off till 8, so it wasn't the funnest thing for him.
Right, not a good thing. All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit on my toxicity section here. I'm enjoying digging into this. I'm learning so much, right? And right now I'm kind of focusing on the brain, the neuroactivity in the brain, and what messes with that, right? Because We see it all over the place with people with dementia, Parkinson's. I mean, it's a bummer that it's happening. So these excitotoxins, I brought them up before, but let me tell you about one of them. It's called cysteine, okay? So what is it? It's an amino acid found in proteins such as meat, dairy, eggs, red peppers, garlic, onions, and broccoli. But here's the deal. So it's not like an excitotoxin. It does occur naturally, right?
Okay.
But it's overconsumption of these things that's bad. And you know how man tends to like, okay, well, if a little bit is good, a lot is better, right? So that what they've done is they've made this thing called a food enhancer called hydrolyzed vegetable protein. Have you ever heard that term before?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
I can't even pronounce it. So.
It's hydrolyzed vegetable proteins produced by boiling. Now listen to the process by which they make this. It's mind blowing. Okay, so it's produced by boiling foods such as soy, corn, and wheat in hydrochloric acid. Does that sound like that's a good thing?
Yummy.
Yeah, probably
Right?
not. No.
And then neutralizing the solution with sodium hydroxide, which is also known as lye.
Oh, good.
Doesn't that sound like it's yummy? Okay. The acid breaks down the protein vegetables into their component amino acids. Okay. So cysteine is considered an excitotoxins, which they are a class of chemicals, which are usually amino acids that overstimulate neuron receptors. Okay. Neuron receptors allow brain cells to communicate with each other, but when they're exposed to excitotoxins, they fire impulses at such a rapid rate that they become exhausted. Picture it this way. It's like you go to the gym, work out, right, Tony?
Mm-hmm.
Little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Little bit.
A wee bit. Yeah.
All right. He said the Scottish.
In your kit and your kilt.
Right. Oh, yes. It's the only way to go. Just don't do the leg press with the kilt.
Spot me, Sonny.
I'll tell you now. Right?
I love it. So, all right. So you go and you work out. Imagine working out really good. Okay. And then your trainer comes in and says, now I want you to do that. You just finished your workout. Now you're going to do it 5 times as hard as you just did it. Okay. You're going to sweat. You're going to, right? It's going to exhaust you, right? Well, this is kind of an analogy of what happens with our neurons. Okay. When the excitotoxin, which just enhances flavor in this particular case, right? There's ones that make it sweeter, like aspartame. Aspartate is in it, right? But it tells our brain this is super good, right? This is a lot of protein. This is really good, or it's super sweet or whatever. But it causes those neurons to fire big time, and they become exhausted to the point where they'll be damaged or they die. Okay. So, and here's the thing. So, several hours later, these depleted neurons die, which I was just saying. Scientists have noted this effect, particularly in the hypothalamus and temporal lobes, the parts of the brain that control behavior, emotions, onset of puberty, sleep cycles, and immunity. Okay. As a culture, do we have issues with this?
Absolutely,
right?
we do.
And we can see them young, right? ADHD, that kind of stuff. It comes in as a result of this activity, right? Or at least in part because of this activity. So, did you know that pure MSG used to be added to baby food, but was removed due in part to the work of Dr. John Olney, which this guy's cool. He did a lot of research, but on the brain, right? So now food manufacturers, they add hydrolyzed vegetable protein, right? Which is an even more dangerous product because it has 3 excitotoxins in it, not just the one with the MSG, right? The problem is we're getting too much of this stuff in our brain, in our food supply, and it's overwhelming our system, okay? And then we wonder why we have, more ADHD, Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's, and so on. We've got artificial sweeteners in everything we're doing, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just about everything we're doing. And then we have MSG in a whole bunch of stuff, right? Which it's just like we have this onslaught of attack on our neurons and our brains. And it's just too much. And it's causing all this damage. And the thing is we don't realize we're not going to have symptoms of it, of any kind of Parkinson's and all this other stuff until 75 to 80% of the damage has already been done.
Yeah.
So
that's scary. And, we talked about the whole Dr. Mom movement over the past couple of weeks. And I'm a mom who has a child who was diagnosed with ADHD when she was very young. She was 8 years old. And I was a single mom at that time. So when the doctor said, I'm going to put your kid on medication, I was like, yeah, do it. Please give me some help, right? Had I known now what I knew then, I would have never, ever put her on that. And no one at any time told me that sleep deprivation masks itself as ADHD. So if your kid's not getting enough sleep, and if they're eating too much sugar, it will mask itself as ADHD. So kids as young as 4, I've done the research, kids as young as 4 years old are getting put on medication. And I can almost guarantee these doctors aren't saying, hey, mom, let's get them on a sleep schedule first. Let's take the sugar out of their diet.
No, they're taking, everybody's taking an easy way.
Then let's see if we need to put them on these psychotropic medications that are going to mess with their brains.
Nothing's ever free. If we try and take shortcuts, it's just nothing is ever free.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, and actually, our youngest daughter was in the same situation when she was younger. She was diagnosed with ADHD, and they recommended the medication, which we didn't know any better. We figured that's the doc. He knows what he's talking about. We said, yeah, okay, go ahead. And but interestingly, she had various stages through the medication. They changed the medication from time to time, and then as she got older, what she started finding out was she actually did better off the medication. And she hasn't used the medication for a long time now, and I think for a long time that the ADHD thing was just something that a lot of medication was being thrown at. A lot of people didn't know a lot about it, but now it's having certain repercussions to people because if you, the military right now, if you try and join the military as a young person, but you have a history of that or you use that medication, they will pass on you.
Oh, really? I had no idea.
Yes. ADHD, they're like, oh, no, sorry, we're going to sit this one out with you. And there are people that have not been able to gain access to the military because of ADHD. And that she's, of course, interested in joining the military right now. But fortunately for her, there's been a gap in time where she hasn't used the medication and can actually say, well, you know what, I actually found out that I was doing better off the medication, which has led me to wonder, was there really, such a thing here? When I was a kid, it was called spastic, right? Because that's what I was, basically.
And how did we fix that? It
Class
was
clown.
A belt.
Class clown.
It was a belt.
He was a knucklehead. He's always doing this. He's in the clouds. He's doing... So, in a way, I guess she comes by it honest, right?
Yeah.
But, we didn't have medication for it. They didn't have a name for it and everything. But, believe it or not, I grew up okay. Some people would argue that, for the most part.
There's some debate.
Yeah. And that's kind of my thing. I think in time, you learn how to cope. You learn how to live. You learn how to go through life without all of the special stuff being thrown at you. So I think that's just something we should probably look at getting back to. I just don't think it's something that is blanket across everybody.
Right.
Every kid that shows a little hyperactivity, I don't think we need to be pushing pills on them.
Yeah,
Yep.
and when it comes to medication, there's always a cost, right? It's not free. You know what I mean? I'm not talking financial.
money. Right.
Yeah.
And you and I have the same story then, because maybe you noticed this, your daughter changed her personality? Did her
Oh, yes.
personality change? She
Oh,
went from all
absolutely.
this bright and sunshiny to just kind of moping around?
Oh,
And
yes.
I was like, oh, well, that's what it's supposed to do. And
I thought that was natural when they
she's-
turned 12 or
She's
13.
doing great in school, so it
No,
must be
That was one of
perfect.
her chief complaints, and one of the reasons very early on why we took her off, because she took the medication, and it seemed like she had better focus, but she would tell us, I don't like it because it changes me.
That's
I'm
exactly
not
what my daughter
me.
said.
It makes me feel like I'm somebody else. Her interaction, her bubbliness, and all that suffered as a result of that. And so, looking back, of course, hindsight being 20/20, you look back and you think, gee, if I'd have just kind of known
Yep.
what I know now. But on the good end of that, I think the body is very good at fixing some of the things that we do to it if we allow it to, and if we enable it, if we help the body along. The body's able to repair a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, and so oxidation occurs as a byproduct of this whole thing that I was talking about earlier. Oxidation occurs, and that causes damage as well. And we know that essential oils are very, very good antioxidants.
Yes.
And they have the ability to penetrate that blood-brain barrier. So that really kind of brings it full circle as, do a little research and figure out, is this something that you can support? Remember I said you don't get and it's not Marc saying this, but it's the research saying you don't get the clinical symptoms until 75 to 80% of the damage is done. How about we get in front of some of that stuff? It's one of the reasons why I'm so after this, because I don't want to go out with Parkinson's or dementia. It's something that, I don't want to do that.
I agree 100%. All right, well, now that I need my tissue to wipe my eye, I love having these conversations because it's not just me and you.
No.
There are thousands of parents out
Oh,
there who have
absolutely.
been in our shoes. So,
Yes.
yeah, it's pretty awesome. All right. So we had the Mother's Day special drawing last week, right? I gave a bottle of Stress away to this lucky winner. Her name is Mindy Beltran. So congratulations. You won that Stress Away bottle that will help you take the stress away out of your life.
Yeah,
I'm excited about that. And if you want to be next week's winner, you got to go online. You can like our page, comment on our page, share our page, share the page. I love that when you do that. And don't forget that you can join us on YouTube. It's Essential Oil Talk Radio, or submit questions, DIY tips, and hacks at eotalkradio.com.
You know, these little outings we're doing at the coffee shops, they're so much fun, right? Because people come out, we just start chatting. We're getting deeper into this Dr. Mom movement, which I know you're embracing really, really well.
Yep.
I'm super excited about you doing some of the classes and stuff that you're going to be doing out at the coffee shop. So do you have kind of a vision of what that's going to be yet?
I do have a vision, yeah.
Yeah, so you're not going to share it?
Well, I'm calling it the ABCs of essential oils, right?
Okay, cool.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It's just a way to, I'm going to help you learn how to use all natural ways as opposed to running to CVS every time.
Yeah, no, exactly right. I mean, there again, if we can use something natural first, right, to see if this can be some kind of a solution to our problem without having to introduce something that, we find out 5 years down the road that, by the way, remember the one I was talking about with the, the one you take for like your allergies.
Yes.
Right. Mm-hmm. And how, now there's links to, brain,
right.
Issues, right? It's just crazy. So we don't want to find these things out later. So.
When it's too late. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for joining us on this Sunday. Tony, it was great having you out here. A lot of fun.
Thank you very much. It was pleasant to be here, and I thank you so much, Mark, for letting me on the show. It's been fabulous and wonderful, especially now at the end when I can use my real voice.
Wonderful. Tony, it was nice meeting you. Thanks for being here.
Nice to meet you. Thanks very much.
All right. You guys have a great week. We'll see you next week.